Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just woke up a couple of minutes ago. I'm in Shanghai right now, which is completely wild. I'm obviously here to cover the bike show. I'm incredibly jet lagged, so let's do it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shanghai Bike Show 2025. I honestly can't believe I'm here. This place is wild. The scale of it just beggars belief. We've got Shane. So we're here. We're here courtesy of Joe from China Cycling. He's brought me and Shane, GP Lamar, out.
Hosting us this week, which is very handy, showing us around.
Yeah, cool. So I'm feeling pretty jet lagged. Got the full fat coke to try and raise the blood sugar.
Hang on.
A little bit.
I've got a water, but I've got a Coke in the other pocket. First impressions.
It's huge, absolutely huge.
It hasn't even opened yet, but 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Hasn't even started.
Right, I'm gonna crack on because I got loads to do. But good to see you.
See you around during the week.
Yeah, see you later. Such a nice guy. First time I've met him actually. So yeah, like I said, we're here with Joe, the Panda Podium team. Flew me and Shane out. I'm gonna try my best to show some really cool stuff today. So walking around here, there are some big kind of Western brands that you recognize. We've got Giant, we've got Toe Peak, we've got Liv is here as well. We've got KMC. So there are some big Western brands, but the majority of them, from what I can see, are definitely catering specifically for the Chinese market. So there's some stuff in here that I've never seen before. There are brands here that I've never heard of. There's a big booth. This is the main exhibition hall. There's a big booth over there for a brand called Dragon, which used to be getting quite a lot of press. So I'll go and check that out later. But for now, I'm gonna find something really interesting in this hall. All right, cool. So one of the first booths that caught my eye was this one called DSK. Again, a completely Chinese brand. No, I've not heard of them before, but they've got these one-piece carbon wheels here. So I checked out a set of 6-spoke one-piece wheels from a company called Elite Wheels. I did a review on their Velo 6. They were really stiff vertically, but laterally, they weren't at all really. You could bend the rim quite easily, actually. I was talking to the guy on the booth here, and they've got some really, quite interesting stats for these things. So these two wheels here, these set are for road. These are more kind of gravel. They're all 23 mil internal, and they've got a hooked and hookless design, although apparently this one is kind of a hybrid between the two. So it feels hookless, but there is a little bit of a lip on there as well, because I know quite a lot of people don't really buy into completely hookless. So for these wheels up here, for the pair is 1,300 grams, or 1.36 kilos, I think you mentioned, which for a one-piece carbon wheel is actually really good. I was quite impressed. So not entirely sure what the ratchet system is in here. The issue with the set that I looked at was they were quite thin here. So the width at the hub wasn't particularly wide. It was quite narrow, so that led to them being quite even, kind of like loose feeling, kind of side to side, whereas these are definitely much thicker than the Velo 6 I looked at. So I assume these are going to be much stiffer. I'd love to test them. I'm not sure I'll be able to, but yeah, I'm sure vertically, again, they're very stiff, but laterally, that's always been a little bit of a weak point with these. So I just spoke to the guy here. They are $600 for a pair. Either of these are $600 for a pair, which is a bit bonkers considering the Elite Velo 6, they were, I think, $1,200 or $1,300. So half the price, and the finish on them is really lovely as well. I'll try and get some close up here. Yeah, just some lovely carbon weave. Apparently it's a mixture between T1000 and T800 carbon fiber, but yeah, overall really nice looking wheels, and for $600 for a pair, pretty bonkers. Also, very quickly, I did actually go back and have a chat with the guy. They do ship worldwide apparently, so dskcarbon.com. The prices, I'd love to double check, but they don't actually list them on the website. But I might have to look at that when I get back, because those are pretty bonkers. Right, quickly popped into the Colnago booth here, and we've got the Y1RS, absolutely bonkers looking machine. First time seeing it in the flesh, and again, you've got that angle out the back, which is pretty iconic actually now. And looking at this headset, I can understand why there have been questions about the cable routing on this thing. All proprietary. I imagine it's an absolute nightmare to service this thing. But yeah, absolutely crazy looking machine in the flesh. Yeah, certainly looks fast. Not sure I'll ever be able to afford something like this, but yeah, a bit of eye candy for sure. So 3D printing seems to be quite a big theme actually in a lot of these booths. We've got yeah, some 3D printed saddles over here, but this company Zinda 3D, yeah, some really interesting stuff. So let's have a look. So yeah, we've got 3D printed sliders, 3D printed, I guess like trainers as well. The lattice work on these is a bit bonkers, really cool looking. And obviously we've got 3D printed saddles over here. This seems like the top of the range one. So we've got yeah, carbon rails, nylon base with a 3D printed top. This is 185 grams, so relatively lightweight. But yeah, price on this, it was 25 bucks for this, which is yeah, pretty nuts. This one is incredibly flashy looking. So I think it was 170 grams, which yeah, not super lightweight, but pretty good. Yeah, look at that weave on the front there. So kind of a dyed carbon weave. Yeah, pretty flashy stuff, and some lovely looking ones up there too. Also, I spotted these at the back here. So we got 3D printed flat bar, yeah, grips. I mean, I've not played around with much 3D printed stuff, but it's so much squishier than you think. Yeah, quite a firm rubber, but because of the lattice work, it's really quite squishy. Bit too squishy, I would imagine, for a flat bar handlebar. In fact, I think I've come across this brand Cruise on AliExpress before. They've got these, yeah, oversized carbon pulley cages here. So yeah, these are all over AliExpress. And yeah, this is definitely a brand I recognize. So yeah, again, cool to see an actual trade show. Right, another really interesting booth here in the main hall. This is the big main hall here. Camp bicycles. Again, a brand I've never heard of. Relatively premium kind of price point for these things. I was having a chat with the lady on the booth here. Lovely looking bikes. This one's called the Ace DA. So yeah, kind of a stiff race machine. DA stands for Dura Ace. So this has a full Dura Ace group set. Lovely components on it as well. So lovely one-piece integrated bar here. Now the price for this thing is it was $3,515. So not crazy cheap. And having a closer look at this thing, some really lovely aero characteristics. Look how chunky those forks are. Really narrow, wide forks on there. And this down tube is very tall as well. So I assume this thing will be incredibly fast on the flats. But considering that comes with a full Dura Ace Di2 group set, I mean, that's not bad, honestly. And the weight of that thing was 7.3 kilos for the total bike. I mean, I think that was a 54 centimeter frame. So yeah, relatively small frame. So to be honest, 3,500 bucks. Like I said, quite a lot of bike for the money, really. This one, it's essentially the same machine as that one over there. So this is the Ace 105. So basically the same frame. This is 7.8 kilos. This is 1,910 bucks, including 105 Di2 with the group set. So yeah, again, that's crazy. I'm not 100% sure I believe that, honestly. I imagine if you buy this for, you know, overseas shipping and stuff, that's going to add cost on. But yeah, again, a lot of bike for the money. Because I wanted to know what they charge for a mechanical group set. So this one right here is their Ace 7000 Pro. So 105 R7000 mechanical hydraulic group set, 12 speed. This one was $1,495, I believe. So yeah, still a lot of bike for the money. So yeah, the prices of those camp bikes, well, I don't know, a little bit too good to be true. The lady assured me that was what they cost, but yeah, what was that? 1,495 for that 105 mechanical bike. I mean, I had a good look at the componentry. They use Novatec wheels. So Novatec is a relatively mid-level wheel brand. So I assume they save a bit of cost there. And they didn't look particularly wide, those tires either. I think they were designed for 25C tires, and they've got their own branded integrated carbon cockpit at the front. So I assume that's going to cut the price too. Yeah, whether you can get that price delivered to like the UK or the US, I don't know, especially with all the tariffs and stuff. But yeah, still, yeah, impressive stuff. Right, so I spotted the Racework carbon crank set up here. I've got a bit of a story past with these. I do really like them, actually. Yeah, so I've got a video on those you can check out. Pretty cheap and nice and lightweight as well. And I spotted these kind of knockoffs of the Carbon TI disc rotors. They've got a carbon fiber spider in the middle and then a steel disc on the outside. So yeah, again, not entirely sure of the cost. This will be an OEM parts manufacturer. Again, like I keep saying, B2B business sales, but interesting to see these brands being sold. Okay, right, so these guys behind me, I was quite desperate to look at actually. Goosyn, they've kind of done the rounds on YouTube as far as I'm aware, but I've never actually had a chance to get my hands on them. They do aramid fiber spokes, and I guess the main headline is the weight, right? So a standard Sapim X-ray spoke is about 4.5 grams of spoke. These ones right here, 2.2 grams. These spokes are a bit bonkers, really. So yeah, you can see just a basic aramid weave on there. The tension, not sure if you can hear, well, you won't be able to, but they ping like piano spokes. But yeah, 2.2 grams of spoke. In terms of like stiffness and ride feel, I've heard a lot of people say that they're designed more around comfort in a lot of ways than stiffness. So they've got some gravel specific wheels over there, as well as a kind of racing focused set of wheels. But from my understanding, they're kind of a vibration dampening kind of design more than anything, rather than all out stiffness. I guess that's kind of a big push at the moment to build a bit more comfort into road bikes. You've got massive 40C road bike tires coming on the market. So I guess having a slightly more forgiving set of spokes is the next evolution. Well, I'm going to show you the gravel wheels over there because they're massively wide as well. I think they're 40 mil internal. So it's not 40 mil internal. I misspoke. It's 32 mil internal. It does look pretty freaking wide. But yeah, I guess the gravel would be a perfect use case for this, right? Because you'd want something with a little bit more forgiving on the ride as well. And they're crazy lightweight. Like a set of these is what? 1,226 grams for the pair. For a set of gravel wheels. Yeah, really lightweight. And just to kind of hammer that home, this is their road version, right? So yeah, the standard R50, so 50 mil deep. And the weight of this for the pair, 1,167 grams for the pair. So I assume the rim's very light, but yeah, lots of weight saving on these spokes because yeah, like I said, 2.2 grams of spoke rather than about 4.5 for a standard Sapim X-ray spoke. Having a look at the actual way the spokes interface with the hub, you've got a more standard one here, right, with the nipples that go into a more standard looking hub. But yeah, look at this one. So I guess it's a woven fiber, right? So you can do like a loop. So that's just looped over kind of hook on the rim, which is yeah, a really interesting way of doing it, I suppose. So you don't necessarily have to go with a spoke and a nipple, or they obviously do offer that. But yeah, you can have like a hook and a loop. I wonder if there's any benefit to this way of doing it. Right, so those Goosyn wheels, they look really cool, but it's quite premium gear. I asked the price. Those R50, the kind of 50 mil deep road specific wheel set, that's $2,500 for a set of wheels. I mean, they are incredibly lightweight, and the aramid fibers, it's a new technology, right? So you're going to pay a premium. They are pretty pricey. I do feel like I want to try a set though. So I want to see just how much comfort they offer over steel spokes. Maybe I'll get in touch and see if I can get hold of a pair. But yeah, interesting stuff. Right, so I'm just on the way back to the Panda Podium booth to charge up some batteries. Kind of using it as a bit of a home base for the show. But yeah, let me give you the quick spiel on Panda Podium. So Joe, absolute legend. He's an English guy, for those who don't know. And he set up Panda Podium a couple of years ago. It's a kind of e-commerce site. And the way he pitched it to me, it's like shopping on AliExpress on easy mode, right? Because you've obviously got loads of sort of Asian brands here. They're not super easily available to kind of Western markets. So that's what he caters for. He deals it in a lot of these really decent Asian brands. Basically, his team over there, they shop around. They use shows like this to go and scope out new products. They'll have a chat with suppliers, go and visit the factories, and then if they like the products, because they're all like avid cyclists, so they test the stuff out, they'll stock it on the store. And yeah, one of the, I guess, big selling points is with AliExpress, things like warranties and returns are really quite difficult, especially once that 14-day window has expired. So with Joe, he's got a really dedicated after sales team. So yeah, honestly, do check them out. They've been kind enough to fly me out here and put me up. So yeah, massive props to Joe, big thank you. And yeah, please do check out Panda Podium. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, so this flying Pidgeon bike brand behind me here, it's just an interesting one in terms of like the history of the the company and stuff. We don't really have anything like it in Europe, I suppose. But basically, it was one of the first kind of government-backed bike producers of New China. And since 1950, they've kind of made about 500 million bicycles for the Chinese domestic market. You won't be able to buy these abroad, but yeah, it's just an interesting history for a company. The bikes themselves aren't particularly interesting. There's one here which caught my eye because it's got an L-TWOO group set, which is what I run on my bike. I think the one behind me, I'll put some B-roll up, is about 500, 450, 500 bucks. Also, I've just spotted on this bike here, it's this group set. I've never come across it before. S-Ride. Yeah, really interesting looking group set. Maybe they've got a booth here. Yeah, I assume it's a Shimano compatible road group set. But yeah, interesting looking thing. We've got one over here with 105 Di2 and that one back there has the L-TWOO. But yeah, this group set, never seen one like this before. So I'll see if I can find the booth and check these guys out. Right, got another Flying Pigeon bike here. This one's running Sensar Ignite. So yeah, a Sensar group set on a production road bike. Definitely a kind of bike for the people, I suppose. This is a cheap group set. And look at these mechanical disc brake calipers here. Love to see it. I do have a soft spot for mechanical disc. But yeah, this is obviously aluminium frame. Yeah, it's going to be cheap. But yeah, interesting to see Sensar on a production bike. Obviously, this is for the Chinese domestic market. Like Trend, they've got some interesting bikes. Might be mistaken for thinking that's the Trek, the Trek font. Certainly does look relatively similar, that's for sure. Yeah, there's quite a lot of that around here. There's a brand, I think in one of the other halls, I'll see if I can find it, where the typeface does look very similar to Shimano branding as well. So I think, again, that's quite a common theme here. Right, so I managed to get onto the Dragon stand. It's cleared out a little bit. It was heaving this morning. And the bikes they've got on show here are absolutely wild. Let me show you this one. So it's like a solid gold bike, solid gold frame, seat post, wheels. Look at that thing. Quite a similar design to the new Colnago V1RS with this kind of dropped angle here. But yeah, absolutely wild looking machine. This thing is 7.7 kilos, so not incredibly lightweight, but bling factor is absolutely off the charts. If you're after something a little more discreet, they've got this blue model here. Look at that, bonkers looking. And they've even custom painted this 105 crankset as well on there, because this is a 105 Di2 on this bike. But look at that. Matching rims, matching paint job. Yeah, this thing is bonkers looking. Right, so I had a quick look at the price for this thing. So it's listed as 33,800 yuan, which I looked it up. It's about 4,600 bucks. Certainly not cheap, that's for sure. And it weighs 8 kilos, so not the lightest thing in the world, but my, what a paint job. Okay, right, busy day today. I just finished up with lunch at the Panda Podium booth. Joe provided lunch, which was wicked. And on the way in, I saw the L-TWOO booth, which I think is down here. So let's go and check them out. Right, then there they are. I can see them in the corner. I guess one thing to note about this show, I guess we'll say, it's more of a B2B show than a kind of consumer-based show. So the exhibitors here, they're selling for, other businesses to buy their products, not necessarily consumer. So yeah, I guess that's an interesting distinction, but let's go and see what L-TWOO have got to say. Okay, this has instantly caught my eye. So they've got a time trial group set. So you can see it's the L-TWOO ER9, the standard electronic rear derailleur, but they've got a TT group set here. So you've got the satellite buttons that work there, and then you've got ones for the TT bars as well. Well, I know loads of you have been asking, I get comments about a TT group set from L-TWOO all the time, and yeah, it looks like they've got one. Whether or not they're selling this, when they're selling it, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it was really interesting to see, because I know loads of you have been after something like this. So let me give you a quick look. So you got 2 buttons on the top here, pretty standard stuff, one on the other for the out the front TT bars there. You got TT style brakes there. And again, 2 satellite buttons on each side as well. Feels really premium, looks really good. Obviously based on the ER9 group set, which has been out a couple of years now. Yeah, super interesting stuff. Okay, so I had a really interesting chat with my contact Evan here about L-TWOO and about this TT group set. So the group set itself, he gave me the OEM price. You're not going to be able to get it for that. So on the aftermarket for a consumer, it's probably going to cost similar to their current electronic group set. So about 600, 650 bucks, something like that. But on that point, it was really interesting chatting to him about where L-TWOO are kind of focusing, right? So everything that I cover it's B2C, right? It's individual consumers buying these group sets. L-TWOO as a company is not focusing on that at all, apparently. I mean, their sole focus is B2B sales. So they're selling these group sets to OEM bike manufacturers, and that's where you can get them. They've not really given much thought to actually individual sales to customers. So when you buy from the official L-TWOO store on AliExpress, it's not actually run by L-TWOO. It's another guy that they work with, and they work with him quite closely to provide after-sale support. But that is not actually buying directly from L-TWOO. It's via a third-party seller. I'm an individual consumer. I'm buying these group sets from a reseller, essentially, on AliExpress. And if I have any problems with them, it has to go through those three people. So yeah, apparently what they're going to try and do is they realize there is a market for B2C sales for these group sets. So in the coming year or two, they're going to try and set up a specific kind of sub-brand for B2C direct-to-consumer sales. But they've got some other cool stuff as well, like this new internally geared hub. So they've got versions, I'm not sure if you can see that there. There's a 5-speed one and a 14-speed variant, which is pretty cool. So apparently there's both mechanical and electronic variants of those as well. Because yeah, Shimano have dominated the internally geared hub space forever. So really interesting to see these guys come in, especially with the 14-speed version as well. So that's pretty cool. And there's another update to the latest ERX group set. So let me show you that. Okay, right, L-TWOO ERX electronic group set, the latest one. So yeah, again, you can see charging via USB-C on the front there, but they've made another update to the rear derailleur. At the back here, this update is new. So they've slightly changed the ergonomics, and apparently they've changed the chip inside the rear derailleur as well. And I guess, again, that speaks to them being an OEM focused manufacturer, right? Because as a consumer, you'd want to know what these versions are before you buy them, but because they're not set up for B2C sales, they don't disclose that information. Something completely outside of my wheelhouse. This is the ETX, the electronic mountain bike group set. So I'll try and show you. It's a little bit backlit, but hopefully that's coming across. So this is 10 to 12 speed, and it's got the external battery, a bit like SRAM's system, I suppose. So that's cool looking. And yeah, this caught my eye. So here you've got the standard dual piston brake caliper, standard post mount. Looks nice, but have a look at this. So it's a 4-piston caliper as standard with the group set. Presumably you can specify this. Normally, yeah, you'd get the standard dual piston caliper, and then you'd have to buy your own 4-piston caliper. So for L-TWOO to offer this kind of out of the box for their mountain bike group set, pretty cool, I'd say. Hopefully they'll bring something like this across the road. That'll be nice. Right, one more tidbit of information before I leave the L-TWOO booth. So I showed you this mountain bike rear derailleur here. This can take up to a 52-tooth cassette on the back, right? But what you can actually do is you could link up that rear derailleur to the drop bar shifters from the ERX group set. And apparently it's the same for virtually all of their electronic group sets. So you can mix and match the shifters with the rear derailleur. So for example, you could stick that mountain bike rear derailleur on the back of a gravel bike, have a massive dish of a cassette on the back, and use nice drop bar shifters on the front, potentially with a 2x setup as well. So yeah, really interesting, much more versatile than the likes of SRAM and Shimano, right? Because they lock all that stuff down. But yeah, really interesting chats at the L-TWOO booth. I do really love these guys. They are really, really good and great to work with as well. But let's see what else we can find. So kind of getting back to the discussion I had with L-TWOO earlier, I guess this is a prime example of what they tend to do. So this company, Shuan, I guess they're an OEM seller because they're stocking L-TWOO's products, right? So yeah, you've got the R9 hydraulic here, and they stock all the L-TWOO gear. So I guess they're one of the OEM sellers that L-TWOO works with. Again, just kind of goes to show they're not really focused on B2C. But yeah, interesting to see it at the same show. Right, I think that it's going to pretty much wrap it up for day one of the show. I tried to really get around and cover as much as possible, but this place is absolutely huge. There's what, 9 halls, or is it 7? 7 east halls, and then there's a whole west wing I haven't even looked at. So yeah, I guess I'll cover that tomorrow. But thanks for sticking around. I'll be here for, I'll cover the first 3 days of the show. Possibly day 4 if I can, wing it. But thanks for joining me. I know it might have been, well, hopefully it was professional enough. It's kind of, only my second time ever covering a trade show. And to do one in Shanghai, of all places, is just utterly bonkers. So once again, big thank you to Joe and the Panda Podium team. They've been so nice, kind of setting stuff up for me, giving me guidance. But that about wraps it up. I'm gonna go and have a little lie down, I think, because I have done probably 50,000 steps or something today. So thanks for tagging along, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.